Give us the intro, Scott.
What's the intro? Welcome to TTG
No, your jingle,
Radio.
your version of the jingle.
Radio. I need some water.
Guys, welcome back to the show. I don't know what that was. Oh, we're all a little, I don't know, getting back together with it today. So today's podcast episode is the three of us, Ian, Scott, Danny, talking about behind the scenes of building a fitness business. We told you guys a few months ago that we wanted to do an episode like this once a quarter and talk about what's going well, what we're struggling with, and like how we're planning for the future and for growth within a business that has a lot going on. So not this past weekend, but the weekend before, we went to visit another one of our business partners, Brett Barker, in Dallas, stayed with him and had a really awesome, just full day of strategic planning. So today is just a little overview of kind of what stands out in our mind from quarter two and going into quarter three, what those just big things that we've accomplished and are looking forward to are. So I know I told y'all what the topic was last night, and you may not have thought about it much. So we're on the spot.
What was the topic?
Oh my God. Well, what do you think went well in quarter two, and what are you looking forward to in quarter three?
We're incredibly busy.
Make sure you're loud because you're like
We're incredibly busy.
Doing
Is
what?
that good or bad?
Yeah.
Mixed.
How are we handling it? And when you say busy, what does that mean? What does that look like?
Clientele. Summer was very, very busy. End of the year was crazy. A lot of our seniors are leaving that we've had for I guess since they were 7th, 8th grade. I just realized today how many seniors we're losing. Like that have been with us since forever. It was all high school.
Yeah, sad face.
Very sad face.
But it's exciting because now they'll come back to us in a different capacity as college students.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, look at what all they've accomplished.
Oh,
right?
no, 100%. I'm just jealous. I wish I would have had that in high school.
We have some state champion soccer players. We have a Rebelette.
Yep. We have...
Go Juju! Shout out!
We got the number one kicker in the country from LSU. High school kid is awesome. We got some really cool injuries that we've dealt with and have helped. It was a good summer year. I'm trying to think.
It's still summer.
It's still summer.
I know, but
weird.
I feel like it's almost over.
Almost over.
I mean,
right,
it is July 10th as we're recording this, so I feel like it's almost gone.
All right, quarter two.
Quarter two?
Okay, so we had to deal with not being in our building for
that was terrible.
Month, basically.
Yeah.
Basically. That was guys, that's a good point.
Working in a makeshift gym.
If you rent your own building or I guess own your own building, you probably already know this if you own it, but if you're renting, you have to be prepared. You are at the mercy of your landlord, and you need to always have a backup plan that if something goes wrong with the place that you're in, whether it's a roof leaking or falling apart, and or having to basically shut down your entire operation for a month and move to a random spot with a bunch of dust and train people, you better have a backup plan, which
we did.
We did.
Yeah.
But I think with anything else, it took a lot longer than we thought it would take.
Right.
Which I feel like we should have known better. But
we know now. So much of this is hindsight 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like every day, as of 10 minutes ago, there's something that's hindsight 2020. And, we'll talk more about that, like, once we've gotten through it. There's some stuff that just is not ready to be talked
Keeps
about.
on popping up.
Yeah, there's always something that's popping up on the back end or on the front end, whether it's a client coming in with an unexpected issue or something like on the back end of the business and the paperwork side of things that you thought you had handled that maybe wasn't.
Yeah.
Insurance. I hate insurance.
Yeah. Insurance.
I mean, I love it, but I also hate it.
Yeah. Like, it's a necessary evil. And I feel like I've heard you say this so many times. The better your business gets, the more you grow, the more you have to pay for insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. That cost went up this year. That was not fun.
What else in quarter two? We started working on the scheduling software.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really coming along.
It's really exciting.
That's going to be
I'm way less skeptical now. Like, I can see it coming to fruition, so I'm excited.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yes, thank you, Daniel. Red River IT.
Yep.
What else?
Well, 3 months ago, we were still trying to figure out the ins and outs of getting PT set up with insurance. So I feel like we have accomplished that, and now we're actually.
I mean, technically, Q2 we started insurance at the very, very end, a week or two left in the Q2.
Yeah. So if anybody doesn't know, we are taking insurance.
Taking insurance for physical therapy, which has been huge, which leads to my excitement for Q3.
Yeah, mine too.
Absolutely.
Continuing to grow that. So that's gonna be a lot of fun, and it seems to be doing so already. So that's really good.
Can you give a quick overview of how we were able to make insurance happen here when we didn't have it previously, and then maybe just off the top of your head some of the types of insurance that you're able to take now?
Yeah. So we did some cash physical therapy when I first started here in January, just trying to test the waters on that. We kept getting asked about insurance, and so there was such a big demand that we decided, okay, that needs to be something that we look into. We already had several discussions with Chris Fultz at Fultz Physical Therapy. Whenever we were figuring out when I was coming over here and in what capacity, and so there was some interest there between both parties. And instead of me having to negotiate all these deals with insurance companies and start setting us up, we were able to partner with Chris Fultz at Fultz Physical Therapy. And so now we're in a partnership and can accept pretty much all of the major insurance carriers: Blue Cross, United Healthcare, Medicare. I know there's some TRICARE in there also. So it's looking really good, and the process has been pretty seamless. We've been able to get people in pretty quickly. Still trying to figure out all the ins and outs of that and communicate well with his team over there. But I mean, for the most part, we have, I don't know, 6 or 7 active PT patients right now, and the list keeps on getting bigger, like weekly. So I mean, that's great. I don't think we can ask for any more without growing too quickly.
So for anybody listening that is interested and you are local in the Shreveport-Bossier area, how would they get in touch with you or us to get on your PT schedule?
Yeah, I mean, just need to call our main number. What is that?
716-1664. I will put it in the show notes below. So 318-716-1664. You'll probably get Clay, and he can get you on the schedule.
Or you can shoot us an email too at info@ttgnwla.com. Yes.
So there's a few ways.
Yeah, there's a few ways. So that'd be great. We're looking forward to getting more patients and getting more people taken care of, and it's going to be great.
At some point, we'll do another episode with you and Chris.
Yeah.
Talking more about PT and how y'all started.
We've tried to plan that for a while now.
Well, between people's summer vacations.
I know. I keep going out of town.
Hard life.
Yeah.
Jealous.
So you can't be jealous. You're going on vacations too.
Again, Scott, so just random, not to bring it back up, but when it comes to you getting other PT patients, is it, if someone's listening to this, or for instance, I had that client yesterday go to her doctor, and the doctor wrote a referral for you, and they just basically gave it into Fultz, and then they are going to get scheduled with us. So if someone's listening to this and say they're at their doctor, and the doctor writes them a PT script, and they put Fultz/TTG, and they give that, I guess I mean,
you can fax the script into 318-606-5351 also. So if you just have a script, you can get it faxed over to the main Fultz Physical Therapy office and just notate that you want to be seen at the training ground or by Scott, and that'll cue them into that you need to be set up for over here.
Yeah, just making sure, because that was how we got those 3 to be.
Right.
I'm going to ask a question. Feel free to say that you don't want to answer this, but if somebody who's listening or watching is currently seeing somebody else for physical therapy, and because they've been listening to this podcast, they want to come see you, I'm not talking about client stealing, but like, is that a thing people can do? How would you handle that? Because it does happen now and then. How is that handled?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tricky situation. I think that, ultimately it's the patient's choice of where they want to be seen. We've had issues in the past. We aren't trying to steal patients from anywhere else, but at times, sometimes those patients are comfortable in the setting that we're in. It's a little more energy and a little more, I don't know.
It's got a good flow to
Like
it. I mean,
fun.
yeah, and you can also go from PT right to an S&C. Literally, it's right to strength and conditioning and personal training right there. Whereas most clinics, sadly, in town, you don't have that.
Right.
Well, maybe you were training with us already, but you went to see somebody else for physical therapy because we didn't offer it at the time, and now you want to switch back because we do offer it. All that being said, we do work with people who are using someone else for physical therapy.
Absolutely.
We are incredibly respectful of whatever that physical therapist is dictating as far as their level of care and what we as personal trainers are and are not allowed to do with them. So it goes both ways.
And it's actually worked really well. I mean, the communication's been very open between other therapists and our training staff, and even me and the patient or the client, or however we're looking at it. I mean, I would think that the easiest way to do it is, if you've seen a PT in the past, not presently, and you need PT in the future, then we're here, but we obviously, I don't want to take anybody in the middle of their treatment or plan of care with somebody else. So that's not what we're here to do. That would be
a whole different level of complicated that nobody needs.
No.
Mm-mm. So, cool.
Yep.
All right. I just wanted to put that out there.
Absolutely.
So, what are we all excited about moving forward? Ian, what's Danny excited about?
Nutrition.
Nutrition.
Yes.
Nutrition.
Yeah.
So for 3 years now, y'all, for 3 years, I have had the desire to create a digital course for nutrition coaching. 3 years ago, I wanted to take this course called Digital Course Academy through Amy Porterfield. At the time, it was out of my budget, and so I just put it off and kept listening to her podcast. 2 years ago, I actually bought the course. Last week, I finally opened the course. So after our meeting, we all concurred that it was time for me to put a little more emphasis on nutrition. And so I'm really excited to put together a digital nutrition course, mainly because a lot of people don't have the time to meet in person on a weekly basis for nutrition coaching. It's not that they don't want it, that they're not interested. They want results. They want to take some action, but either time or budget is not on their side. So this is going to be a more budget-friendly approach and a time accessible approach for somebody to do it on their own time. There will be some different options to still do in person, whether, virtual or in person options if somebody wants it, but I think it's going to be more accessible to a lot of people. So that's my big focus for Q3. I was excited to finally open up that course, and I've spent a couple hours a day on it. So I'm kind of going to continue on that path over Q3 and start testing it out with some clients over Q4, and then really launch it in January of 2024. At least that's the tentative plan.
That's so far away. Did we decide that?
I sent you an email this morning with everything that I've done so far in planning. So
no, we said it needs to be done at the end of Q3.
Yeah.
And then we can launch it on a scaled version and see how it does, and see if we need to make any tweaks. And then
I think we should make a vote on the podcast.
We're not voting. We win.
Well, I just said
2 to 3.
We win.
2 to 3. Oh, by the way, guys, if you're in a business, make sure it's 3 people, because you're always going to lose.
Or it could be an odd number.
Yeah, it is 3 people.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to just be 3.
So tentative plan still in the works is have it ready to start utilizing with some beta testing clients at a reduced price from the official launch price by the end of September. That is the tentative plan. So we still have lots to do and lots to go over, and that could change. I'm trying to follow the instructions in the digital course of how it can be realistically doable, while also still doing a lot of other things here and having a 2-week vacation somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there.
I mean, somewhere in there specifically, the first 2 weeks of August, I will be in Ireland and not able to do any coursework.
You're still going to do.
You're probably right. I don't know how I would not do some work by being gone for 2 weeks. That's something else kind of cool to touch on, though. We've all been able to take at least a 1-week vacation this year. sometimes 2 or multiple 5 days without really needing to work because we've done a better job delegating.
Yeah.
When I say we, I'm really talking about me. I think y'all are much better at it than I am. So
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
And I think you've been a really great influence, Scott, on us not working on holidays and really feeling like it's okay and we need to take a little more time off instead of working 6 days a week.
Yeah, but I will argue this though. I think we've gotten to a point where we can do that. I don't think
It's
a
a
long
combo.
time ago I don't think we were at that
Sure,
point. And I think
sure.
that's a big misconception that a lot of people have with small business growth. Like that first 1 to 2 years, I mean, what is the I mean, I'm sure somebody on this podcast is listening. Is it every 2 years? You have like most business fails within 3 years, or is
I
it
think
2
it's
years?
5. I thought it was 5.
There's a lot that don't make it past year 1.
If you made it to
and
5
then
years, you're
5,
doing
I
pretty
mean,
good.
I will say this: year 1, dude, there's no way in hell I could have done that. Like we could have done that.
I didn't even feel like last year I could have.
Yeah, like I think it's now that we have the right people here, and
Yeah.
that I think we feel safer about it. As meaning, I can walk away, you two got it. You can walk away, we have it. Like we have a better team.
Yeah.
So I think before you start making sure that you're taking vacation off and taking off all the time, and I say this just because it's important that you have a backup and a team that you trust. Because if you walk away and things hit the fan, I mean that can damage you for years.
But I mean,
to
you
come.
traveled a lot when it was just you.
It's just me though, but like that was the
Yeah.
problem is that we talked about that the other day, how a lot of my clients still didn't get seen when I was
Right.
gone, which
Right.
was a huge issue.
Yeah.
Which is now I don't.
Right.
You know? So I mean, we're right. I mean, you have had a great influence, but I think it's because we have a great
Yeah,
team.
I just
and we have
wanted
you.
the spotlight back on
I mean,
me. a
but you
little bit.
always, because you're a cool guy, right? Guys, by the way, this is not Scott anymore. He's called a cool guy. A cool guy. I want you to edit the podcast every time I say cool guy. I want it to be like a whisper of wind, like.
Since this has to go up before, like in the next 2 hours, so that it goes
What?
live at 6 a.m.
What is
tomorrow.
this? What about the running one?
It's already posted. That was last week.
I didn't see it. No.
You didn't listen to it?
I did. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember that.
You need to listen.
I do listen. I always watch them.
I think we recorded it last
All right, what
Monday.
are you
anyway.
excited about?
I can't talk about it.
So,
You can't talk
I
about
think
it.
what we can say is that for the last several years, we have grown a lot and we are continuing to grow. And at some point, we will outgrow the current space that
Yep.
we're in. So we are consistently looking for options that we can grow into. We have not found one as of yet, but I feel like we're getting closer.
Yeah.
We're figuring out what does and doesn't work, what we do and don't need. And I think, I'm kind of fingers crossed hoping that within the next 3 to 6 months we'll nail down something.
Yeah.
So, but who knows? And then, but even when we make that decision, that doesn't mean like one day we're here and the next day we're there. I think there's going to
Definitely a
be
transition.
quite a transition period, and time will tell.
That's going to be a lot of manual labor. Like this one was. That was fun. I'm excited about it.
Are you scared of a little manual labor?
No, I like manual
All right.
labor to a
Well,
point.
I don't like
Sometimes
it. Can y'all
it's
just do that
I
part?
love it. Let's go.
Scott's
do it.
one
You're the
manual
handyman.
labor. Yeah, you're the
Let's
one
do
who
it
built
all.
Look,
thing.
I was raised on Target and Starbucks and like
What's Target?
Target.
The bougie target.
Oh man.
Oh.
And if there's something wrong with your car, you call AAA. Like I don't know how to change a tire. I was taught. I just didn't listen or remember. or when I became an adult, it was call it Trooper. So
Troopers know how to change tires?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Is that required for them?
Well, I called my husband, and then he called a friend if he was not available.
I was just curious. I didn't know if it was a requirement. I'll have to find out.
I feel like it's a requirement,
Does anybody know?
an unspoken requirement. I will ask
That'd be interesting.
Well,
Drew if you're listening. You're
That's
not.
true.
So.
What else am I excited for Q3?
Mm,
I'm ready for that software.
I think we've done a really good job this summer of doing a weekly continued education session.
We have.
Whether
Yeah,
it's
we
been,
did one.
Just did
That
one.
was fun.
yeah, what'd you talk about? What was the big topic?
We talked about Stuart McGill's Big Three and his method. And Scott and me argued about it. It was fun.
So for clients who have no idea what the big method or the big three or Stuart McGill, like how does it relate to a client? What did we learn that we can help clients with?
If you're bored and you have back pain and you're just curious and you're doing a bunch of research, just look up Dr. Stuart McGill. I think it's like backfitpro.com. Guys from Waterloo College has done a lot of research on the spine and backs. He's fantastic. He's well-read, a lot of good research, and you would enjoy it. And we just kind of talked about his idea and concepts and simplified it. Didn't get into the craziness. And then Scott wanted to get into the craziness. But
Well, so
I
overall,
deflected.
for the client listening, we talked about 3 different exercises and some progressions and regressions from those to help people with back pain and focusing on stiffness or stability.
Correct.
So that's the overall picture of that.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
And for weeks where we couldn't get everybody together, we've been consistent showing some of the digital course material that we've gone through. Mike Boyle is a big one that we've all learned from. And so I've just said, hey, there's a few of us here. Y'all can sit down and watch this video and learn something that I learned, and therefore help all of us to be on the same page with how we're correcting and cueing and explaining an exercise or showcasing it. So
we need to become like something like that. Like I learned from Scott LeBlanc. I learned from Ian. Maybe one day.
Well, maybe after I figure out my digital
vacation?
course, we
Had a
can
great
do
vacation.
a training digital course for you guys.
That'd be fun. Boot Ranch. Hashtag Boot Ranch. It's sponsored by Boot Ranch.
I feel like you're squirreling on me.
I'm totally
We're
squirreling.
done. We're out of
All
here.
right.
I'm
That's all there is
We had
for
fun,
today,
guys.
guys. So
That was a fun, spontaneous.
yeah,
podcast.
let us know. There's not really a comment section. Give us a review and an Apple Podcast review, and let us know what you think. What types of episodes are your favorite?
Some troll's gonna get on there.
What do you want to hear more of? Do you like this behind the scenes stuff that's just kind of a little off the cuff, or do you like the nutrition, or do you like the more specific science-based training or physical therapy-based podcasts? What do you want to hear more of?
Yeah. Shout out to our Canadian listeners also. That's
Right? Yeah, kind of.
Mimi, if it's you, I miss you. I miss you, Mimi, if it's you.
I'm having lunch with her next week.
No, you're not. Not my grandmother.
Oh, Mimi, not okay.
Mimi's
Well,
amazing.
all
She's
right,
so
your
good at soccer.
grandmother.
Mimi, I hope it's you. You awesome Canadian. I love Canadians, by the way. Shout out Isaiah. I wonder if Isaiah listens to these. I love
Or
you
Corey.
too, bro. Or Corey.
Corey.
Isaiah, that'd be great. I miss that dude.
All right, we're going to wrap it up right there today, guys. Thanks so much for listening or for watching. If you want links to the YouTube channel or to our Instagram or email, or if you want to make sure you know when the podcast comes out, check the show notes. But you can also text the word podcast to this number, 833-432-2161, and you will be sent a quick text with a link to the latest podcast episode. All right, that's it. That's all. Bye for now.
What is that?
No.
Exit, bro.
It's not even close.
Exit.